All right, we are back with the 111th edition of the Quarantinecast. I have Sasha Palatnikov. I think I pronounced that correctly. He just got signed to the UFC. He'll be competing at UFC 256, 255, 255 against Louis Kosi. So I've been a fan of his for a while. So without further ado, I'm going to have him come on. Hey, man, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing, Sergio?
Did I butcher your name?
A little bit. Palatnikov. You're close.
Palatnikov.
There you go.
What's the origins of that?
Russian.
Russian. Oh, okay.
My father.
So man, how you doing with the pandemic and everything that's going on? How have you been holding up?
Pretty good, man. It's been a roller coaster year, that's for sure. Ups and downs. Let's put it that way. I had surgery at the beginning of this year, and then COVID hit, and then I was like, "What's gonna happen?" And I didn't think fighting would be an option this year. Once COVID came and everything was kind of shut down, locked down, even here in Las Vegas. But I just kept working, just kept getting back into my recovery, trying to get back in shape just in case anything, did come up. And, September, I was able to fly out to Dubai. And even with what was going on in the world, it was a great opportunity to go out there and just put on a show. And fortunately, I was able to get out there quickly in the first round and finish my opponent and get myself back here. Got myself management due to that win. And 2 weeks after that, we got that UFC contract. So, I could have never predicted it this way, but I had like a little kind of side bet with a friend of mine. I was like, yeah, I'm thinking 2021, like halfway into 2021, I think I'll get into the UFC. But I'm just so much happier that I'm here right now, and I'm still kind of taking it all in. I'm not like 100% like believing that I'm actually in the UFC right now, but it's a day by day. The interviews that I'm doing, I just entered the USADA testing pool, so it's like it's becoming a reality, and I'm just excited, and I'm just happy that my goals are being reached.
So how did you get the news that there was an offer on the table from the UFC and it was a multi-fight deal?
Like I said, I basically after my fight in Dubai, I was talking with a couple management companies, a couple companies that reached out to me, and the one that I'd been most in contact with was Daniel Rubenstein with Ruby Sports and Entertainment, and he was well spoken of. People were saying good things about him, and I have some mutual friends who are actually represented by him. So I just wanted to kind of speak to a few people, see what they thought, and they told me only good things. So we signed that contract, and we'd been discussing, look, when am I going to be fighting? And he said, look, we're going to try to get you a fight as soon as possible. And we weren't even talking UFC. We were just trying to talk any fight, any situation that would come up. Let's fight. And it was, when was it? It was it was on Tuesday. I got a text message from him, and he was like, hey, you want to fight on the UFC on the 21st? I said, hey, let's do it. So that's it. I mean, I'm a guy, I've taken fights on 5 days notice with a torn meniscus. Like, I'm the guy that's game to fight no matter what. So when an opportunity like this comes along, I'm not going to say no. So I'm just happy that it came along. Sometimes you just got to be at the right place, right time. But yeah, I'm ready for this. I'm on a bit of a momentum right now, a bit of a roll. So I'm feeling good, and I'm ready to go in there and keep it going.
You were scheduled to fight, I think, on the 28th, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of describe what the turnaround is. I mean, completely different opponent, complete change of game plans and everything. Kind of describe the emotion when you got the news. Okay, you're different opponent.
The beauty of this sport is I don't really worry too much about what my opponent brings. It's what I bring to the cage, and then how I have to adapt. Sure, I look at their fights. I like to see what they're good at, but at the same time, they have to solve me. I'm a puzzle that needs to be solved in order for them to be successful. So, of all fights I've fought, regardless of my losses, I've always had I've had people in situations where they felt very uncomfortable, especially standing. And it's usually the same equation. I hit you a couple times, and then you don't like it, and then you try to take me down. And I've been training my whole life to keep it standing. And if you take me down, I'm able to get right back up or put you on your back. So I've been training in every facet of this game for over 12 years. So this is something that I've just been on. I'm a Hong Kong kid. People don't know me, so I've been putting in the work. And any fight that comes, any opportunity that comes, I'm ready for it. And look, change of opponents, 5 days, 2 days, 1 day. You just got to be ready. It's a mental thing, and if you're mentally ready to go, you're gonna get in there and get the result done, regardless of what the opponent change or what style they bring.
You said people don't know you. Do you think that's favorable? Do you think that benefits you? The fact that people aren't familiar with you, maybe they are overlooking you.
Yeah, I'm sure. Going into this fight, I'm probably most likely going to be the betting underdog. So if you want to make some money, but I just think coming in from a place like Hong Kong, no one, I mean, the average person probably doesn't even know where it is on the map. So just the fact that I can come in and represent my city and let people know who I am is an honor, and just so people can get a taste, get a good little sight of what I bring, is something that I've always been working towards day in, day out. I've been in this game for a while now, and I'm 31 years old, so I'm about to just start hitting my prime and start hitting my career. And I'm excited. I mean, I know people don't like people that grab them and hold them and try to just ragdoll and decision people. I'm gonna go in there and try to finish people. I'm gonna go in there and put hands on people, and I think that's what people like to see. I have a dynamic style, so if people enjoy that, then I'm hoping they're gonna want to follow me and support me, and going forward, we're just gonna slowly take over.
What does it mean to you to be able to carry that flag on your back? You're the first person ever to compete in the UFC from Hong Kong. What does that mean to you?
It means the world. It's huge. I represented Hong Kong in rugby and basketball at the junior levels, and you know, Hong Kong is home. No matter what anybody says to me, I was born and raised there. I went to high school there. I went to primary school there. I did everything in Hong Kong. So it's a complete honor, and to be the first person to wear that flag into the cage, and just to highlight Hong Kong, like just to, even if it's 5 people are like, oh, I didn't even know about Hong Kong, and they find out something about it. That's awesome. That's what I want. I want to put Hong Kong on the map, and then also open up the avenue to other fighters in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
We have prospects coming up now that in the next couple of years you'll probably start to see. So I want to be that pioneer. I won my first championship title back in 2019, and that was like the first ever in Hong Kong history as well. So like I'm just ready to keep on breaking history, putting my name in the history books, and then hopefully I can motivate young fighters that are coming out of Hong Kong to just keep working, because it's a hard process. I mean, fighting is one of the hardest sports in the world, in my opinion, especially when you don't have support. So you just got to be gritty, and you just got to be motivated to just continue working day in and day out. And if I can just give people a little bit of motivation to keep that going, then hey, that's a win for me.
How does one pursue a career in MMA in Hong Kong? Like, it just doesn't seem, when you think MMA, you think Brazil, United States, Canada, even. Hong Kong is one of the last places that you think of when you talk MMA. How does one pursue that career?
I mean, first in, like, Hong Kong has a system built there where you can compete amateur. You can fight regionally. Obviously now it's a little bit harder with COVID, but usually they have amateur tournaments, shootout tournaments. They have all kinds of tournaments where you can have guys being developed. And Hong Kong has like the tendency to have smaller weight classes. Me being 170 pounder, 185 pounder, I'm like a heavyweight in that region. But there's a lot of guys in the like 35, 45 region that are really talented, really athletic kids. And for them it's tough because to be able to train full time and then also work, and you got your social life, these things you have to sacrifice. Not going out, not having a social life is like one of the biggest things that you have to eliminate if you want to really pursue this kind of career. And then you just got to jump on opportunities. I mean, like you said, Hong Kong isn't known to have MMA shows or big fights. So if events do come up, these guys have got to jump on them, and if they don't, then they're going to be left behind. And just for me to be that person, that's kind of, I mean, I've supported myself 6 fights through my professional career until I got management. And I just was consistently like pushing myself daily, questioning like, should I be doing this? Like, because I've invested so much in myself, but at the same time, this is what I love to do. I have a computer science major. I was working in IT. So this was not like my end all be all. Like, I could be sitting on a computer and keeping my face nice and pretty, So But I love what I do. I love fighting, and it's something that I believe I was born to do, and I've never really shied away from it. Injuries, all the kind of things that you would expect to experience. I've just kind of just said, hey, let's just get past it. It's just something that we can overcome, and then just keep going forward.
You made a huge sacrifice back in December, and you moved to Syndicate MMA. What has that done for your career? And describe the biggest change this past year.
Oh man, it was the It was a big move to make. So I was working in Hong Kong as an MMA coach and personal trainer. So working that and then also fighting, it was hard to balance because it's tiring. Being on your feet 5-6 hours a day, and then you got to also put your training into it. It takes a lot out of you, and fortunately for me, I was working in a gym named it was named Hybrid MMA in Hong Kong. Great gym, great people there, and they were really able to support me and help me. And, I was able to win my title in Korea. And, I just knew that if I really wanted to go to that next level, I had to make a big investment. And coming to Vegas, one of my old coaches, Neil Melanson, who I used to train with at the Black Zillions back in 2016 in Florida, he was in Vegas, and we remained in touch. And he was like, man, you should come out here. You can stay with me, and we'll get you situated here in Vegas. And I jumped on that opportunity, and I thought, man, I have to do it. So packed my bags, jumped on that plane, one-way ticket, and I've been here since. I was introduced to John Wood, the head coach of Syndicate MMA. Awesome guy. He's helped me so much. I tore my meniscus before my last fight in UAE Warriors previously against Munir Lazez. And coming back into Las Vegas, I spoke to John, and John was able to get me everything I needed to get done for my surgery. And he was one of the most welcoming people. And, the guys there that I train with, a bunch of animals, a bunch of UFC fighters and, Bellator fighters. So it's just, the environment was something that I was used to, like when I was training with the Black Zillions. Hong Kong, unfortunately, like I said, I was the heavyweight, so I wasn't really able to get the training partners that I necessarily needed. I would fly people in. I have some friends that were staying in Southeast Asia. Thankfully for them, they're really close friends of mine, so I would bring them in for my camps just because they were my weight or heavier. But it's tough to do that, and you can't always expect that from them because they also have their lives to live. So coming out to Vegas, being in Syndicate, I loved it, man. Like, everyone's like, oh, you got to be worried, you don't want to go party, go crazy. It's not even my thing. Like, I don't like that at all. I just want to train, and I like to go up into the mountains. I like running in the mountains. I like, I'm a nature guy. And then when the fight comes, let's get it. That's what I'm excited every time I get in that cage. There's never an ounce of nerves, nothing like that. That's what makes me happy, so.
I saw the video of you. I think you posted it today, running up in the mountains. It looked like it was freezing, snow-covered mountains.
Yes.
It was ridiculous. Where were you?
So literally 25 minutes drive from the Las Vegas Strip. There's a mountain called Potosi Mountain, and we went up there yesterday. I was with my strength and conditioning coach, Lorenzo Pavlica, and his son, Preston, with Primetime Performance. They're my strength and conditioning guys, and my pad holder and coach, Matthew Polino, he's here from Singapore. I flew him in here, and he's now my roommate. So he's been a huge part. He was getting me ready for my previous fight in Dubai, and he was there for my first fight in Hong Kong, and like now he's gonna be here in my corner for my first fight in the UFC. So it's pretty epic. But they were like, let's go run in the mountains again. Let's go get it. And all of a sudden, we just finished breakfast, and it started raining. And he's like, I think there might be snow in the mountains. I was like, that'd be cool. We would go up there, and holy smokes, I didn't expect that much snow. I felt like I was in Montreal again. I used to live in Montreal, and I was like, God damn.
Yeah, I'm in Halifax, Canada. So the less snow I see, the better.
I bet. I'm sick of snow. I don't want to live in snow no more if I don't have to.
Oh man, it's brutal, and training in it, it's awful. Like, my knees hurt, my elbows hurt, all the joints. It's brutal.
It takes forever just to get warmed up in that weather right now.
Oh man, yeah, it's awful. I want to talk about your Munir Lazez fight. Is it a little bit bittersweet seeing his success? Was it hard being on the outside looking in, like, oh man, maybe that could have been me? He had that incredible performance. Was that a little bit bittersweet? And what's the biggest lesson you learned from that fight?
Well, the Munir Lazez fight was a really interesting fight because, like I said, I'd had a torn meniscus at the time, but I was in training camp in Ukraine. I was invited out there to work with Lomachenko and Usyk's boxing coach, his Olympic boxing coach. My dad had contacts out there, so that's actually my father's hometown. So the fact that I got an opportunity to go there and see where my father grew up was huge, but also to go and box was incredible too. I was working with the junior national team, couple of their up and coming, well, supposed to be Olympic guys in 2020, but unfortunately they didn't compete. But I was getting in there, getting good rounds in, and I felt good. And I was originally supposed to have a fight that was going to be 6 weeks later in Hong Kong. So I was like, okay, let's just get in shape and then get ready for this fight in Hong Kong. But I literally received a phone call on 5 days' notice, and they're like, hey, we have a fight for you, Abu Dhabi. You want it? And I was like, hey man, I've never had that opportunity to fight in Abu Dhabi. UAE Warriors is a big promotion. It's up and coming. And I know who that guy was. I'd seen I'd been offered him previously, but it didn't work out. Something didn't work out, but I'd been given his profile. So I'd seen him before, and I was like, okay, I understood what he was about. He was a striker. So I was like, okay, let's do it. It's a risk. My dad, a couple people around me were like, I think you should get the surgery first and go back. But I was just, that's just me. I just want to get in there and do it. I don't like turning down, because if I turn that down and then I say, what if, so I went in, I took it. I said, hey, let's go. And, I didn't even have a corner. I didn't even have a cup. I didn't even have fight shorts with me. So like all of these things were all just kind of last minute things put together to fight against someone like Munir. It's not exactly the best, but that didn't faze me. I had my boy Matthew fly in from Singapore. He met me there. So it was like, we didn't really get a lot of time to get, I guess, facilitated. But going into that fight, I was confident. I felt good. Munir's a tough guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a good fighter. But going in there, he was the home crowd guy. We were co-main event. It was very loud in there. It was a great atmosphere. And I can tell you about the fight. Going in there, I felt very calm, very relaxed, and I was moving in there. And I've watched up until that point. I believe he was 7-1, so he'd had 8 fights. He'd never ever shot a takedown in his life. In any of his fights, of those 8 fights, he'd never shot a takedown. So in my mind, I was thought, okay, this is gonna be a stand-up fight. So as soon as we started moving around, I could tell already he was a little bit anxious. He was very tight, and he didn't like the way I was moving. And he shot that first double leg on me, and I was very surprised. But I got right back up, and we got back to work. And it was a back and forth fight, not 50-50, I would say. I landed a big shot, he landed a big shot. I took his back, and unfortunately, just because I was dealing with the injuries I was dealing with, I just didn't feel strong on the ground, and I just didn't put in the work that I needed to put in at that point to be good on the ground. And I had control of his back, and he just was able to sweep position just so easily, and I was just disappointed in myself. But to be honest with you, I'm not a sore loser. Look, he fought good, but that referee stopped that fight early, in my opinion. I was in half guard, protecting myself, bobbing and weaving. There was 12 seconds remaining, and the ref called it. He landed like 2 elbows through my guard. I was okay. I was there. I never felt dazed. I never felt hurt. I was a bit shocked that they stopped the fight, but at the same time, I was respectful, because I'm not that kind of person. Who knows? At that moment, at that time, you don't know. You might have been knocked out. So once I went back and watched the film, spoke to my coach, he was like, man, you were still there. You were fine. Like, strange. So, and then he gets signed by the UFC. I'm like, I'm, like you said, feeling a little bit down. I'm like, oh man, like there was my opportunity there. If I had taken that scalp, I'd be in the UFC potentially. And then of course I tuned in to watch his fight, and he fought an incredible fight. He looked great. And it made me feel good too, because I knew that 9 times out of 10, I put him away. I know it. And to see what he did in the UFC just made me know I'm just going to come in and do the exact same, and if not better. And like I've been training with some of the best fighters on the planet since 2016, and I know where I stand. And just to see that opportunity kind of, I guess, dissipate, I was like, man, I just need to get myself back. So like I came and I was like, I need to stop trying to fight when I'm hurt. Just make sure, my body is at 100%. I know how to fight. I don't need to go in there and break my body every day. So I just need to put some more emphasis on my recovery, put some more emphasis on taking care of myself. And the simple fact that I could go in there and feel good and not have to worry about, oh, my knee, is it going to give out? Like, you don't want that. So when I came to Vegas, my whole thing was, look, I need to get my knee repaired. Let's get back to where I know where I can be, and then let's just get back fighting, doing what I do. So I knew being in Vegas would give me probably a better opportunity to get into the UFC, just because, well, I didn't predict it because I couldn't predict COVID, but at the same time, being out here, I just thought, hey, maybe someone pulls out from a fight, gets hurt, short notice. There was my opportunity, and I have no problem fighting short notice. I can make weight in 5 days. So, so I just thought to myself, if I'm here and I'm in that environment, whether it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 years, I'll get my shot. That's what I believe. I truly believed it. And it came a lot quicker than I expected. I kind of had a side bet with a friend of mine that 2021, like 6 months into 2021, that would when I'd get my call up. But hey, nothing better than coming in a little bit early. So I'm happy about that.
You've competed throughout Asia. You've where was it? South Korea, Abu Dhabi, Hong Kong. What's it like to be able to say, you know what, I'm just competing next door? Like, is it a nice change to just wake up, walk there?
Bro, it's amazing. Like so in 7 fights, I fought in 6 different cities. I've only fought once at home, which was in Hong Kong, which was amazing. I loved fighting at home. But I'm always the B side. I'm always the away fighter. So, but don't get me wrong. That's one of the beauties of this sport, giving me the opportunity to travel the world and see different cultures and, just being in a different environment. And also, like, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So those are just one of those things that you're just like, and I never was uncomfortable. I mean, I fought a couple times in mainland China. I fought one time in mainland China. Okay, I was a little bit uncomfortable there. There were some pretty dodgy situations out there, but all my other fights, all the promotions take care of us, and they make sure everything is good for the fighters flying in. So, now that I'm here in Vegas, it's great. I don't have to get on a plane. I don't have to wear a mask. Don't have to do 85 COVID tests. So it's at least my nose is going to be feeling a bit better before the fight. And, I'm just excited, man. Like, the goal as a kid, like I used to watch, big boxing fights and big UFC fights as a teenager and being like, man, I'd love to fight in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, and frick, it's going to happen in less than 2 weeks. So, it's crazy, man.
That being said, there's two big fights going on later that evening. I'm sure you'd want to finish things up quick and go back and watch them. But I have to ask you what your prediction is for that main event. Davison Figueiredo fighting Alex Perez.
If I'm a betting man, I'm putting it on Figgy. I mean, that boy got power. But don't get me wrong, Perez is a very talented fighter as well. He can bring it, but I got Figgy. I think Figgy's going to defend that belt. He looked incredible against Joseph Benavidez in both fights, and he's a dangerous fighter, and he's got some serious power for 125 pounds. So I think he'll get that W at the end of the night.
And then in the co-main event, I think everyone's writing Valentina's name down. How do you have that going?
Yeah, that's pretty inevitable. Valentina is an absolute monster. I've seen her train in a Tiger. We've crossed paths. She's a phenomenal athlete. Her and her sister, it's going to be kind of a cool card. I think it's going to be the first ever brother and sisters fighting on the same card. Antonina Shevchenko, Valentina, and then my opponent Louis and his brother Orion are fighting.
I got info on Orion. He is out of the card. I think he's got. I don't think that's out there yet, but he is out. But that would have been unreal.
Right. Okay. Well, sorry to hear that for Orion, but that's still cool though. See to be, and that's a cool thing too, to be on a paper. I mean, I'm not going to be on the pay-per-view. I'm guessing I'll probably be on the prelims, but to be on UFC 255 where there's 2 titles. I think it's awesome. It's not a fight night. It's not a contender series fight. It's a freaking pay-per-view. So, no better way to start this debut than hopefully when everyone's tuning in and watching, All
right. And then I'll ask you one last question and then I'll let you go. For people who haven't seen you fight, maybe they haven't watched your last performance or any of your performances overseas, what can you say about your fighting style?
I'm a striker. I love to be dynamic with my striking, a lot of footwork, a lot of movement. I'm a chess player, and I usually play against checker players. So it's something that I play strategy. It's a mental game. I don't fight emotionally. Technique, crisp technique, something that I've been working on since I was 5 years old. So if you like martial arts and you like people getting put to sleep, watch my fights.
All right. And then any sponsors or anybody you want to thank before we end this?
I just want to thank everyone that's been supporting me throughout my career. If they're tuning in, give you guys a follow at Quarantinecast, and Syndicate MMA, all my teammates, my management, Ruby, and just everyone that's been a part of my journey. I appreciate you guys, and I just hope that you guys tune in and you follow my career and you enjoy what I bring to the cage. And don't forget to do some research on Hong Kong and learn a little bit.
All right, man. Thanks again for the time, man. I'm looking forward to this fight. It's gonna be fireworks. I like both of your fighting styles, so can't wait to watch it.
Awesome. Appreciate your time, Sergio.
All right, man. Stay safe.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Man, I'm looking forward to this fight. It goes down on November 21st, so that's only like 2 weeks away. Can't wait for it. If you haven't yet, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.